Welcome back to the Sports Barn. It's Eric Arnold here, Wednesday afternoon, the 18th of November. We're going to get you the weekend college football picks here today. We're trying to mix it up here, run a little ahead of schedule this week instead of rushing things out at the last minute. One of the reasons I did the college football early, I've been waiting all week to get an update here on my missing votes question. There's missing votes here in Berks County, Pennsylvania. No one knows where they are at. No one seems to care except me and a handful of you Politic Barn followers. So the county of Berks was supposed to, by law, have had these things, well, perhaps by regulation, not law. We're supposed to have these things certified by no later than Sunday night. Well, still not done. Here it is Wednesday. Still not done. So we're still waiting for their, quote, official numbers, which then they're going to turn right around and certify Friday. They're supposed to give everybody a full 5 days to review them. I guess we're probably going to end up getting like 36 hours if we're lucky. So, you know, one of my frustrations with government is if there's ever a rule written that the government itself has to comply with, you know, they never do it, and there's no penalties when they don't do it. So, anyway, don't want to mix barns here. So, you're going to get your college football now. Let's have it. Thursday, we like Tulane. You know, they're coming off a nice big win against Army. Tulsa, a huge comeback win against SMU. I think that might just kind of drain them, deflate them. I mean, just a little bit. It was such a big win. And now you have a pretty good opponent coming in there with Tulsa. Tulsa's catching 6.5 points. Tulane is catching 6.5 points. Tulane has a good coach. So we're going to take Tulane for 2 points, or 2 stars. Wyoming, they're 20.5 point favorites at home against Utah State. That's a lot. But we're going to take Wyoming anyway, just because they've got a good coach. And Utah State just fired their coach. And we like betting against disarray, you know, if you will, coaches, interim coaches, programs going through transition. So Utah State, they're in a transition right now. No more head coach. They have an interim guy. They'll have to get a new guy. So we're going to go ahead and lay 20.5 and hope Utah State just doesn't feel like playing. This next one, I think we're probably on the short end, or in the minority. That's what I want to say there. Syracuse is a 17.5 point underdog at Louisville. This is a Friday night or Thursday night, I forget which. Well, anyway, everybody I think likes Syracuse. They're thinking that's just too many points. I don't know. Louisville has the propensity to really run up some scores when they're on. So we're just going to go ahead and say they're going to be on for 1 star. We're going to lay 17.5. See if Louisville can put some crooked numbers on the board, if you will. Purdue, Minnesota, this is an interesting game. 2 Big Ten powers, I guess I'd say. Minnesota, last year they beat Auburn in one of the bowl games. Minnesota was good last year. Now this year they're not having a very good year. Coming off of destruction against Iowa. Purdue played Iowa close before losing, so I guess just based on that, we're going to say Purdue's better than Minnesota, and we're going to lay the 3 and see if Purdue can get it done. 1 star there. We're going to put 2 stars on this one. This looks like a game where you would say, who cares? Air Force laying 7 at home to New Mexico. A couple thoughts. Air Force, I think you're still looking for a quarterback. They're star, if you will, the guy that led them to such a great record last year, he's gone. He's gone. That's one of those where, you'll find out in a year what happened and why he's gone, but, he was, I guess, essentially kicked off the team. That's one of those, you're fired. F you, I quit, deals. So you don't know what happened there. Anyway, I think they're mostly without a quarterback. New Mexico got rid of Bob Davie finally, and that program was a mess under him. Investigations, losses, more losses. Now, seems like with the new coach, I think he was a D coordinator under Herm Edwards, I think. Play on? No, that was Jim Mora. Anyway, Herm Edwards was his boss. I'm not sure that's a selling point necessarily. But anyway, anyone other than Bob Davie, and this program's doing better. We're going to take the 7 here up at Air Force and see if they can't get it done here. Then Saturday here, this I'd say was probably your game of the day. I know everybody's going to say what. Coastal Carolina, undefeated against the traditional Sun Belt power, Appalachian State. This is down in Myrtle Beach. -5.5, Coastal Carolina win this game, and they've got an inside track now to probably a really nice bowl game. I wanted to take Appy State here just because they're the traditional power, and they're probably better than what they played this year. But then again, that quarterback Carolina has is just good. He's just big. He's pretty fast. He can do the read option. He can throw relatively accurately. He's tough. He was already hurt one time this year, and he's already back already. I just think Coastal Carolina's got something going on there. We're going to ride the hot hand here. We're just going to ride the hot hand, all 1 star. I don't have a real good feel on this one, but I just feel like Appy State really hasn't done much of anything this year. They really haven't showed all that much at all. So, teams they should be crushing, they barely squeaked by one of the Texas teams last week. Was it Utah? San Antonio? Was it Texas State? I don't know. But they squeaked by like 17-13. Okay, that just isn't that exciting. Carolina's whooping people. We'll lay the 5.5. Let's go. Chanticleers, did I get that right? I don't know if I did. It's like a fighting bird of some kind. I'll have to brush up on what that is. Clemson getting their quarterback back. Lawrence, he'll play. I think we have to lay the points here. I'm from the 80s and 90s, so it's one of those, it's like I'm laying 34.5 points at Tallahassee. That just all seems so backwards. That the Seminoles used to be a feared power, the best. They were elite, to use James Franklin's word. And now I think Clemson's looking at this game like, we got to brush up our resume now, because we got a loss now. So we got to show everybody that was all kind of didn't count, because now we got Trevor Lawrence back, and we're 70 points better than everybody when we got Lawrence. So I kind of think they're going to go out there with that mindset they had against Georgia Tech and just look to really wax these guys. So we'll see. I'm going to lay the 34.5. Michigan State, Maryland. I don't like the new coach up at Michigan State. I'm sure he's a great guy and is nice to his father and his mother and what have you. But just looking at the guy's resume, it's like, wait a minute, you're the coach now at a major, Big Ten school. Okay, prove it to me. you got a nice win there over Michigan, but other than that, it's been bad. So, Maryland, they've just been better. They've just been better. They were good against Minnesota. They were good against Penn State. It looks like Tua's little brother looks pretty good to me. So I'll go ahead and lay you the 6 with Maryland, and show me Michigan State. Show me you guys used to be fearsome. Go green, go white, do something. Show me, man. But I'm taking Maryland. Okay, here we go. Indiana, Ohio State. For those newcomers, I'm an Ohio State grad. Then we're laying 20.5 to Indiana. Are we taking these guys seriously? I mean, do we really think these guys are good? I don't know. I took Ohio State. I mean, I'm kind of like, those guys give us trouble. But do they really? I mean, we're going to run tempo on these guys. It might be a tie game at halftime, and we still might cover the number. We might just wear them out in the second half. So I'm laying the 20.5. Prove it to me, Indiana. We'll take the Bucks. All right, here we go. Top play. Georgia Southern's coming north. It's going to be cold. It's going to, believe me, I can speak from experience. At West Point, it sucks up there. It is cold. This time of year just sucks. And, it's going to be windy and cold up there. And I like the team that is from the windy and cold, Army. Both teams should be pretty familiar with each other. They both run the same kind of offense. Nevertheless, I think Army's going to get it done. Georgia Southern, just a handful of handling errors, and that'll be the game. Just one fumble here, all my fingers were frozen there, and that'll be the game. Army will cover. So that's what we're thinking there, top play. I don't like Lovie Smith as a coach. Don't think much of him. Scott Frost used to be one of my favorites. He hasn't done much lately, but he did beat Penn State, which lately that's no big feat. But 15.5 points, 15 points, that just seems like a lot. We'll take the points. We'll take Illinois. All right, again, we're playing off that very difficult game there, the Tulsa SMU game. If I don't know if any of you's watched that game, or if I was the only one in the United States that actually watched a significant part of that game. But it was, we had a big lead, and couldn't hold it. Tulsa came from like 17 down to win the game. Both teams are way above 500 in the American, so it's a significant game in that conference. And we're playing against both teams this week. We just think that game is going to have taken something out of them. Both teams are playing incredible opponents in Tulane and Houston. We're taking Houston here for 2 stars on the road, getting 3 points. LSU, haven't seen these guys for a while. This is just kind of almost what? They're only favored by 2.5 points against Arkansas. I can't believe it. The balloon came off the Arkansas Rose a little bit last Saturday night, where they could not stop Florida at all. I think Florida rang up 60 on them, something like that. And I think that's where we're just going to go now, is maybe Arkansas is not that deep, perhaps. Think about that. That makes some sense. You're bad. Now you get a couple good recruits in, and you're getting better. But, you can't recruit a whole 40-man roster in one off season. You pick up some good talent here, they start, but beneath them, they're still, the guys that were there the last 4 years, Drek. So at some point, the depth comes to play where, you have injuries, and now the Drek is starting to get on the field, and I think maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe that's what happened last week. Arkansas is just maybe getting a little tired, getting their top line guys are getting worn out a little bit, and they don't have the depth. compete with these premium SEC programs. So we'll take LSU lay the 2.5. Florida, the way they scored last week, we're probably sticking our face in the fan here. Well, we're going to take the 32 with Vanderbilt. I just kind of hoping. I've seen some of those games where Florida plays up at Vanderbilt, and they're fist fights. I mean, I remember one, I think it was 2 years ago. It literally was a fist fight. I mean, Derek Mason is going crazy on the sidelines. His eyes are bugging out of his head. Dan Mullen is pointing, and yeah, I think there's some heat in this series, some hidden heat that may just keep this game just a little closer than it might be normally, and maybe Florida only wins by 4 touchdowns, which would be good enough for us. So we'll take Vanderbilt. I can't. I guess I'm just throwing over Chip Kelly at this point. I've been waiting for this guy to start winning forever now at UCLA, and he just isn't doing it. So, at some point, you're just wrong. And so I'm just going to say I'm wrong, and we're just going to bet against Chip Kelly. Here he comes home, the Oregon, site of all his triumphs. But it's going to be cold and crummy up there, and we're just going to say Oregon's going to outscore them. That they're just going to be better. We're going to lay the 13 and see what happens there. That's a top play. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just I've decided I'm going to hate Chip Kelly, and if I am emphatic enough about it, I'll be right. So we'll make this a top play. This one I'm feeling, this top play here. Why is Iowa only a 2.5-point favorite over Penn State? Has anyone other than me watched these Penn State games this year? They're not good. They can't run the ball. They were getting bad quarterback play. Now they put another guy in there, and they're getting slightly better quarterback play, but it's not a good team. I mean, Iowa they've been close against, I think they were close against Northwestern. I think I have that right. They were close against Purdue. They hammered Minnesota. They hammered Michigan State. I just think Iowa's way better than Penn State at this point. That's the top play. We'll lay the 2.5 with Iowa. Now we're going back with Luke Fickell here. He's been, he's been on a roll, and then I jumped off the ship last week, and he won and covered as usual. Laying 5.5 at Central Florida. My goodness, how times have changed. Central Florida used to be the bully in the American, and now they're slowly reverting back to, what they've always been. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice. So, we'll see if Cincinnati, I'll take Cincinnati. Let's lay the 5.5, see what happens. Here's another top play. Oregon State, they're catching 3.5 at home against Cal. We're going to lay the 3.5. I think this feels a little bit, again, we lost with Oregon State as a top play earlier this year. I don't know. We're sticking with them. We just think there's something there. And we'll see if it comes out Saturday afternoon. Another top play, Nevada. Getting 2 from San Diego State. We'll take Nevada. That's a top play. Northwestern, Wisconsin. This is a huge game here. Winner has the inside track, I guess, to the Big Ten title game. Where they, win the Big Ten title game, they're in the playoff. Right? Maybe. I don't know. I think everybody's going to be on Wisconsin here. We're seeing this just a little different. Northwestern generally plays Wisconsin close. They seem to have the ability to slow them down, I guess, if you will. They play good enough defense that Wisconsin can't just gash them for 20, 30 yards of carry like they do some of the other Big Ten teams. So they can't do that to Northwestern. That shortens the game. The game ends up something like, 24-20 or something. So we're going to take Northwestern and catch the 7.5 points. This is this is a field game. I generally avoid Kentucky the coaches against the spread record isn't great. But Saban, 30 and a half, I don't know. Kentucky can run the ball, and that's where I'm kind of thinking maybe Kentucky is able to shorten the game just enough, possess the ball just enough to keep Alabama from just exploding for 50. So if they can keep Alabama in the 40s, maybe 42, maybe Kentucky gets 2 touchdowns and that'll be enough. So that's how we're going to see that. We're going to play 1 star on that with Kentucky. I don't even know why that's there. Colorado State's burned me multiple times this year. We'll lay a 16 again with them, though, against UNLV. Look, what we're doing here, if you haven't figured it out already, we're playing against all the warm weather teams in the cold weather. You're saying, that's so damn stupid, I can't. Believe me, this works. It works. I've used this in the past, it works. How much it works, I can't quantify for you, but it does work. Think about it. You're talking college kids. Some of these kids have never been outside of the area where the school is. Let's just pick one here. Texas schools are usually the best. I don't see any on. Well, all right, here's one. Georgia Southern. Yeah, those kids from Georgia Southern are almost certainly all from the South Carolina, Georgia, Florida area. I would wager a lot of those kids have never been north of the Mason-Dixon line. They don't know what real cold is. They don't play football in the real cold. So this could be the first time any of these kids have gone up north and have had to play a competitive football game where you kick the ball and it's like a brick. The ball is slick, like a pool ball, because it's so damn cold. This is all stuff we grow up with around here. This is all new to them. So I believe there's validity to this theory. So don't doubt me on this. All right, what else? NC State -3.5 against Liberty. I think it just has to end at some point for Liberty. They're undefeated. They've got some nice wins under the belt. Beat Syracuse, beat Virginia Tech. Hell, they beat NC State. They might, let's put them in the ACC title game. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think, again, we're getting late in the year, and some of these teams like Liberty, I don't know, are deep enough to keep competing with these powerful Power 5 teams. So we're going to lay the 3.5, and I think NC State ends it for Liberty. It's been a nice run, and I've enjoyed it for these guys. But I think it ends Saturday. NC State -3.5. Does Michigan just go like 0 for the season? Is there a bottom to this pit that Michigan is falling into? Is there an end to this? I'm going to say this ends Saturday. That Michigan takes care of Rutgers, and it's not that close, and everybody can go, all right, the world isn't completely upside down. Michigan only laying 10.5 at Rutgers. I'm just going to say, Rutgers is a little better under Schiano, but he just got there. He just got there. So I'm going to say that Michigan's going to find some measure of pride, and it's going to beat these guys by more than 10.5, although I'm only putting 1 star on it. What do we call this? Bedlam, right? Did I get that right? I think I got that right. I should know this. I have relations in Oklahoma. It's just, none of them care at all about football. So I guess does that count? If you have relations in the state but none of them give a shit about football, should you know about the local football teams then? At any rate, I just like Mike Gundy. I think he is a better coach, I believe, than Lincoln Riley. Your mileage may vary. We'll take the 7. Go Cowboys. And then 2 more top plays to round it out. Late night, we've got Washington, 11.5 point favorite against Arizona. cold. And then Utah getting 3 from USC up at Ogden, again, cold. So, what are our top plays? Well, they're probably all weather plays, I think. We got Army minus the 4, Oregon minus 13, Iowa 2.5 point favorites at Penn State, Oregon State, Nevada, and then Washington and Utah. So there you have that. Got a handful of top plays. Like I said, I don't know, it's a COVID year, so, you know, magically all these players will probably, like, become impervious to cold then. Maybe that's something. They've all tested positive for the virus by this point. And that makes them impervious to cold, as well as doing away with their sense of taste and smell, apparently. So we'll see what happens. I don't know when the next political video is getting put up. I'm waiting for these certified results where Berks County then says, that's it, that's our final answer. And honestly, I hope they put up numbers that make sense, just because I don't want to waste 2-3 days chasing around trying to get somebody to recanvass or recount the votes. Because nobody gives a shit about this except me. So, you know, I just want it to be right so I can just move it off my plate and go on to something else. Sports-wise, we'll have the NFL till you Friday. Good. Well, let's have a good weekend sports-wise. Let's get some winners. I think we're due. Well, last weekend was okay, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the winners going. We're nearer the end of this COVID thing, I think, than the beginning. I think we're at the end of the beginning. You know who said that? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to make you look it up. All right, I'm going to tell you. Churchill said it. But we're at the end of the beginning, and, you know, I say that just because there's a vaccine out there. I mean, okay. I mean, give it to me, you know. I don't know if I'll take it or not. I mean, 95% effective, right? You ever seen the movie I Am Legend, where, you know, they had the cure for cancer and everybody took it, and it killed 90% of the people. The other 10% turned into monsters, except for like 1%. And then the 10% that turned into monsters killed the 1%, except for Will Smith, of course. You know, he's the only, and by some fantastic coincidence, he was one of the head dudes that started the whole thing. So he's still left alive. You know. But anyway. All right, good. Well, we'll talk to you again. Thanks for being here. Thanks to all the new subscribers. And let's get some good football going this weekend. Arnold out.